All right, y'all. I was gone for a very short amount of time. We are back. This is Loud Zay, and we are on with blah blah blah.
It's lit.
My name is Max.
You guys already know who it is. It's Big Uzi Horse.
This is the first time it's AJ.
He's gonna say that every time. You already know.
You already know who it is until everyone knows who it is. Yeah, that's
Until everyone knows who it is.
That's like brainwashing.
Brainwashing.
Yeah.
You are weird, bro.
No cap. Whoa. No, that's just.
He said no cap. You weird, bro. He said no cap.
AJ, I'm just a little.
We're gonna go round robin, y'all. So our two newcomers here, just so you know how it goes, we're gonna go in the order that we introduced ourselves, and we're gonna select topics that we want to talk about today. We're gonna randomly select one of the 6 with the virtual dice. So
All right.
Let's do it.
It's busting.
I say
start.
my topic is the moon.
All right,
So
all right. I'm gonna say "Old Town Road," #1 song in the country, in the world, actually.
yeah, I was gonna say it's the world actually.
For me, man, this Kodak situation.
Oh my god, bro.
No cap.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the fake ass eternal it take. Is it common? Is it fake? Wait, what's about it?
That was
Shout out SoundCloud.
This is
That was like
happening.
the ugliest sound you could have made.
I know. Sorry.
Ooh. Hating.
At least I'm pretty.
What'd you just say?
Pretty boy solid.
Yo, soldier for that.
Hey, shout out King
Oh,
Jack.
he said Kodak. I almost didn't even put it in there. Why you just start talking about some controversial shit, man?
You know why?
No, I don't. That's why I just asked you.
I know I'm about to explain. Because it's not us in that situation. I think it's appropriate for us that we could talk about that.
Whatever you say, bro.
Because we're looking at it
All
from
right,
our
bro.
point of view.
Alright, bro.
Alright.
Let me see here. What should I pick for my second topic? Man, this one's hard, bro. I don't even know why I'm drawing a blank right now. It's so heavy. Let me think. What about the future of transportation?
Okay.
I don't know why I said that, but we'll go with that.
That
So-
shit sounds good. Ooh, I got one.
You're not
Say
next.
CJ.
I
No,
know,
let
I know.
CJ go. Let
I
CJ
know.
go. I don't even have
It's
anything
fine,
right
it's fine,
now.
it's fine.
I'm not tripping. I was just finna say
No,
so I
you-
got something.
hurry up.
So I got something. So what
Please.
I got. Do you think humans existed with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Humans and dinos.
I like it.
No cap. And what dinosaurs look like. Those were like all in one. No cap.
That's like 2 parts.
Yeah. That like it just starts at one thing and it transcends into another.
I got you.
That's kind of what it is. It's because it's still in the dinosaur topic.
You want to talk about dinosaurs?
Basically.
Can we do part 2 to that too? Are dinosaurs ever gonna make a comeback?
Whoa,
They
I
are.
see something
They
about
are
that.
on some Jurassic Park shit, on some
Facts.
sketchy shit.
They're gonna reproduce.
Real life, Jurassic Park.
I'm gone. Wherever that's at, I'm gone. I'm not going there.
Fuck no.
Hell no.
Seen
I
the
saw
movie
Jurassic
multiple times.
Park. I don't need another
You
interpretation.
know how this goes.
This
All right.
dinosaurs created.
I kind of like that dino thing. Yeah. All right, let's go. So, all right. Boop, 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 boop. That's my computer noise. All right, we better roll this die, bro. We got one dice. Rolling the dice. Ooh, it's a 3.
I mean,
know.
we're talking about Kodak.
Just
We
start
ain't
the
talking about
show.
Kodak. We're gonna scratch that.
Reroll.
We can talk. We can
It was destined to be.
All right, this is what we're gonna do.
How is it? Oh, it's so
So
wild that he's.
don't say that. Don't say how is it controversial.
Mhm.
Like,
All right, we can talk about it for a little bit, and
alright,
then we'll
that's all I'm
reroll.
saying.
If we're gonna
You gotta
talk
have a
about
pop
the
culture.
Kodak thing, I think
Come
we
on.
should also talk a little bit about Nipsey too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
fine.
It's just a
That's
respect
cool.
thing.
Alright. Well, what do you have to say, Mister?
Obviously, R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle.
Okay. Well,
Alright.
at least you started off on
We
a
gotta
positive
say-
note here.
Mhm.
But like what Kodak said though is just wild. That's absurd. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's funny because it's like you ever see those memes that be like Florida man ate a man's face or
He's
some
still
shit.
talking about
It's just
this
like
Florida man eating people.
It's just
bro.
so
He
wild.
Really,
Is
he
that
really
shit true?
taken aback by this.
like it's just wild though. Like that he said that. Like is that really true? Like I haven't seen the clip.
I don't even know what he said.
You know, what exactly
So-
did he say?
Basically on his Instagram live, my man's was like, "I'll give it a year before I holler at Lauren London." Like
I mean, it's probably just to get clout.
Yeah, 'cause he be saying that a lot.
he be saying some wild shit. He said that shit about
yeah, man.
About young Monte.
That was.
he's off the wall. Like he's
Was this
off
on
the wall.
live or something or?
Bro, he said the Younger Made thing in a song. Like, this is wild. Pimpin' ain't easy. I was like, did this man just say this right now? Oh, he crossed him. Yeah, that's the song he said it on about the Younger Made, but that's just wild. But he said it on his live about it. Wow, that's so disrespectful on all levels. No cap.
I mean,
That's all I'm saying.
sorry if y'all hear that feedback. I'm trying to fix some shit.
Yeah, no, my thoughts are with Lauren London right now, honestly,
Yeah,
and her
absolutely.
family. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That
That's
shit
some,
shook the
that's some
world.
clown shit.
Facts.
But I mean, that's like, what else is there to say about it? You know, at the end of the day, R.I.P. Nipsey, he was a really influential dude. We was talking about it. We played a bunch of songs by him on the radio show today. So
Mm-hmm.
that was cool. And
What's the next subject?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can just pick. We can go to the dinos. I guess everyone was interested in
yeah.
dinos. So I mean, I
Do you
don't know.
think humans existed with dinosaurs? I gotta hear your answer because you are the one that opens minds. I promise you. I swear to God. So explain your side. I want to hear it so that I could have good feedback.
Let's learn.
Facts. I
Yes,
love to learn.
I think that they did exist with dinosaurs, and the reason I do is because there's depictions of it, and like wall writings and stuff like that, in multiple different cultures and stuff.
Holy shit.
And so there's like if you look back, there's like what do you call those things? The hieroglyphs and stuff like that. Even in Egypt, there's like I'm pretty sure there's like depictions of like actual like scaled dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? Like not like like something like what we would draw up as a dinosaur like rendition, for instance. You know what
For
I'm
sure, yeah.
saying? So like either there's like two outcomes that are possible, which is they found the remains like we did and somehow pieced them together and made like an accurate assumption of what they would look like. Or they saw them. I mean, like,
I don't know. I mean, like you say, Egypt though, like
I'm pretty
actually
sure.
has depictions. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but like, when did dinosaurs go extinct? Wasn't that like
we don't know.
65 million years ago or something like that?
Carbon
Maybe more?
dating isn't accurate though.
Really?
I did not know that.
Carbon dating, I mean, it's not
Sounds
absolute.
like a conspiracy.
It's not absolute.
Okay.
Which means that like pretty much
A guesstimate.
it can change if there's like due to the radiation levels and stuff like that. So pretty much like they can only do so well. It's like only so accurate. And carbon dating is the only thing we can really use to date anything, even like remains for the most part. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there might be a way to tell. I'm not that educated in that kind of stuff. But what it comes down to is I'm pretty sure it's like that's why we can't confirm that history's older than it is because the things that we found, it's really hard for us to date them. So they could have been really, 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 really old. They could have not been somewhere in between. So
True.
that being said,
I feel like it at least has to give us some kind of idea, though, and at least lets us know that it was millions of years ago, not just like 1,000 years ago.
right.
You
But
know?
also, if there was any like nuclear or like like an asteroid hitting our planet or something like that could actually affect like how everything is dated. Like I said, so it has to do with radiation. I'm pretty sure is how they can get skewed. So if anything, like, if there's like any like radiation event, or like some event that has like, you know, it can just mess everything up. So I guess like really what I know, that's really all I know about it, which is that I know that everything is, you know, obviously like a rough estimate. And then the way science works is it's always evolving and we're always observing more. You know what I'm saying? So like science, that being said, like science is like the description of observation, pretty much. It was like, I forget exactly how you define it, but pretty much it's like science, if you look in the definition, it's saying like you observe shit and then you make a theory about it. And so people who always try to tell you like, oh, it's not scientific, I'm like, literally that's what science is. So like,
yeah,
You're definitely right with that.
it's just like, that's the thing, is like, in the popular accepted everything in our world is like always, god damn it. The popularly accepted stuff always becomes at some point not popularly accepted anymore. You know, everything evolves. When it comes down to science, at least, and shit like that. So there's always it's always open ended. You can't really just close the book. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Especially in our history, in human history, we don't know shit.
No, because shit changes all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Bible has been rewritten 32 times since they wrote the first one.
wow.
Like the King James version has been written 32 times.
See, I told you, once the King James version came, everything got fucked up. I told you, I got smoke for y'all Christians.
What's good?
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going. Just
Let's,
keep going.
yeah.
I mean,
Keep going.
I'm down.
Keep going with this.
I mean, the only thing I really
So
have to
it
say
makes
about
sense.
that is just that, like, the King James version of the Bible is just, like, in my opinion, it's just used to control people for the most part.
100%, yep.
Like, it's like, it's like, it tries to instill fear into you, which was not originally the idea of the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
These are our laws, and like this is a higher power that's like in control of you.
Yeah, like what you know, that
we
whole
define
era,
that, like-
whole era was ruled by the Catholic Church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So therefore, like, who gained the most out of that? The Pope.
Destroyed nations.
You know,
Like
yeah,
no, yeah.
So, and he, like you said, if it was rewritten 32 times, which I actually didn't know, if it was rewritten 30 times, so why would it be? It would probably be to fit someone's agenda of some, you know, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, people
Right.
didn't like it at first. They didn't like the things that it was talking about. Like, but the first version said that rape was okay. And then people didn't like that. So they had to keep on changing until
Right.
they got the final version that people actually wanted.
Yeah. And so, yeah. So I feel like, yeah. You know what I mean? Right there. It's just like when it comes down to, but that's like a lot. Most of the texts that I still like follow have like, it's crazy how it works because there's still like, you know, there's a shit ton of Christians, obviously, still, Catholics, whatever, all over the world. But like, you know, the people who are the most devout are generally from the older religions. You know what I'm saying? The ones that were, you know, because it's just like, it's weird, like, I don't know, it's, I feel like the reason that people are faithful in that stuff is because of the ancient aspect of it. In the sense that, like, these are, like, this is something that was, like, rooted in our foundation as a people, as in comparison to, you know, just like, oh, this dude just wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the King James Version, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, like, weird, you know? Like,
They feel like they can relate it to their ancestors or
Yeah.
something, and like that like verifies it or
Exactly.
something like
Right,
that.
it's like knowledge passed on, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, which is cool in my opinion.
In
I talk about
some
that.
ways. Yeah.
I think it's cool because it's like, we will never really get to, everything is up for interpretation. We'll never get to understand exactly how they were seeing things or how they, like, were immersed in their cultures or anything like that, how they spoke, any of that shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's really the only things we have that have survived that long, or most of it. You know, we have artifacts, but a lot of them are destroyed. You know, we only have bits and pieces of most of our ancient cultures. So like, there's still so much to learn on Earth, and they say a lot of it's still under the ground.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
History is not written by losers.
Yeah, for real. Exactly. That's the main thing too. Yeah, if you're gonna fuck someone up, you're gonna destroy all their shit. Make sure everyone forgot about them. That's what we're in right now. That's what people want to act like we ain't in the white era. It's okay, like, you know, it's like people that have a really are like really short-sighted. It's like there was plenty of ruling classes that were not white. You know, this hasn't been forever. The last couple thousand years is probably, you know, like a small percentage of human history. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about humans and dinosaurs, which means we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years ago. Also, but let's just go back to humans and dinosaurs. There's some interesting stuff to say about that. So, humans and dinosaurs. So, to say, this is also interesting because it's open-ended. We know for a fact, actually, put it this way, that there is ancient animals that live on Earth.
Yep.
Accepted. From the era of the dinosaurs.
Right.
Everyone agrees, for the most part.
Like in the ocean, we say.
No, on
Even
land.
on land.
Like even
Like
on
yeah,
alligators,
for real.
bro.
Alligators, Komodo dragons, they haven't evolved that much.
Yeah.
Oh, so them niggas just been bulling the same for years or something?
Yeah.
So like barely any transformation, if any, was just like size
Right.
growth.
And
It's
see,
not
and then
small.
they try to say that humans evolved in like a few thousand years.
Right.
You're like, well, what? It don't make no sense. But that being said, though, so it's like,
But then they say like chickens are cousins to like T-Rexes or something like that.
That's what they say.
they say that dinosaurs are more like birds than they are reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
They say dinosaurs have feathers.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
tight.
insane.
So they had feathers. Like that's so crazy because Land Before Time really throws your perception. off on
Exactly.
dinosaurs.
I got it, guys. Sorry, y'all, I weren't going through my pain that I was going through. But yeah, Live Before Time, what were you saying?
Like that throws off a terrible picture of like dinosaurs, like a perception. Like it's super bad.
Land Before Time is lit. What are you talking
It's a
about?
great.
Oh,
It's
it's
That shit
Don't
is
just
crazy.
wait, just wait. I'm just saying like what they look like.
Oh,
Like the story
I
itself
mean,
was a
it's a
great
cartoon,
movie. I
like-
cry every time I watch it.
I mean,
Relax.
at the end of the day,
Low
though,
five.
at the end of the day, though, we don't actually know. Like, we don't know. That's the thing. We just found out that a lot of dinosaurs have feathers. Back in the day, back in at that point in time, that's what we thought dinosaurs looked like, which is fine.
That's wild.
That's true.
Well, see, this is the thing though too. Why is everyone so absolute that what humans were and at what time?
So that means we could.
You know what I'm saying? We were not no fucking monkeys, bro.
No,
I don't know how many
no.
times I gotta say it.
No.
No, I didn't
There
believe
ain't no proof. There's no proof. There never has been any proof that humans are literally descendants of apes.
Nope, because if that's the case, why are apes still here?
Why are apes still apes and we're still humans?
Those are just our long lost cousins that just got reproduced.
No, there's no line of evolution. You can't trace Homo sapiens back to any creature, ever. No, there isn't one. There
Does
was
that mean
other.
aliens?
There was other hominoids, right? There was other hominoids, but they weren't our direct. They weren't. We didn't evolve from those hominoids. There was
Right.
Homo sapiens. They fucking fucked everyone else up, or they outlasted them. However you want to put
Before
it.
that, it was Neanderthals.
Yeah, right. And that's not why there is like, but we know that hominoids had bred. So there's actually some people have Neanderthal DNA in them. Some people don't. So think about that. That's some trippy shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you think too, because species, generally speaking, can't crossbreed. Most species can't crossbreed. Most species cannot crossbreed and have a reproductive system, like a working reproductive system.
That's true, because ligers, they're literally only made so that they're big.
Ligers, mules, shit like that, like the things that actually could crossbreed, can't reproduce after they're crossbred.
Dang, they
Most
could
of
have
them,
mixed
except
kids.
like dogs, like all the subspecies like breed.
Huh.
But we've been doing that for like thousands
I
of
think it's
years.
because we bred them so that they are a bunch of different subspecies, not like they were initially.
Mhm.
I don't know that for a fact, so don't quote me. But I'm pretty sure.
I love that.
But yeah, so what I was saying though, going back to what I was saying, was that who's to say that there were some forms of dinosaurs that looked more like the old ones that lasted substantially longer than we thought they did, and could have died out in a part of history that we cannot attain at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, it might not be as far. It might not be that humans went back that far, but that some dinosaurs came this far into our present time. You know what I'm saying? That there might have been a couple dinosaurs that survived. Maybe they were smaller. Maybe they were aquatic. Who knows? But maybe there was like some actual like real life ancient creatures that was walking, the earth with humans. Who's to say it's inaccurate? Because we don't know.
So you think humans go like all the way back in time?
What do you mean?
Like beginning.
What is all the way
No,
back in
no,
time?
no, no,
What's
no.
the beginning of time though?
That's what I'm saying.
What
like,
is
it
the
just
beginning
like,
of time?
If we don't know where we came from, like you're saying, no one's found anything like saying, "Hey, humans came from this." We were just always Homo sapiens, just forever.
Yeah, that's why they always talked about the missing link.
That's okay.
The missing
That's what I
link
was trying to.
is still missing.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's unfigured out.
We're working on that one.
No, because like
That's the
I
thing.
think-
They want to try to say that we're apes, but they haven't found the thing in between apes and us. There's no remains. There's no nothing. There's just a theory that people evolved. Now, this is the thing though too. So it doesn't make no sense if we was really, for one, apes. For two, if we're from Earth even. Because if you put it this way, bro, we have like over 20 genes in our DNA that are not correlated to any other being on the planet. Just straight up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, how you gonna say that we was some monkeys? Monkeys are from Earth. We know they from Earth.
They've always been like.
They have, you know what I'm saying? They have familiar DNA. You know what I'm saying? We have just as much DNA as we do with monkeys as we do pigs and rats.
I think it's bananas. Like that's how crazy it is. Like it's like the smallest amount we have like traits with.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they can't actually figure out where we came from because they can't find entire fossils anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no like, yeah, exactly.
Like
Even
even for
like they
dinosaurs.
can't now.
Like you're telling me there weren't no graves back in the day,
There was plenty.
and we just can't find them.
Bro, everything's under the ground, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You wanna know something interesting too? How does everything just become under the ground? Like when it gets old, you ever realize that? How does things just like, how does it just like, everything just gets covered by dirt? Like you think about that, everything is like, when we talk about archaeology, we're talking about going and uncovering from beneath us. How does it build it?
So I don't know if you know this, but sandstorms actually travel across the ocean. From Africa, they travel across the ocean to South America.
What?
So when the Earth was a lot, or when the continents were a lot closer, the sand had to go a lot less further. So that's actually what it fertilizes a lot of the rainforest is because the fact that the sandstorms go so far. So could just be sandstorms covering everything. Plus there is 2 or 3 ice ages.
And
Yeah.
at one
like
point it
2 or
was
3?
Pangea, you know,
Yeah.
it was just one big continent, so it's like a lot of that history is way beneath us. We can't probably even reach that. It's probably just gone, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, there's also a bunch of crazy shit in the ocean.
Imagine
Right.
if it was like years of
Yeah.
war. There's people living underneath us.
Bro, there's like
Atlantis.
multiple people who have claimed some shit.
Wouldn't that be
Y'all want to
wild?
know some crazy? There's like
Yeah.
there's a famous pilot who I forget what his name is, so that sucks. But there's a famous pilot who like flew over the North Pole, and I'm pretty sure it was the North Pole. It was one of the poles.
It was probably
But
South
when he
Pole.
flew over, no, I don't think so, bro. I don't think people fly over the South Pole. Really, I think he did though. I think they said he flew over the North, then he flew over the South.
Yeah.
But like, people generally don't do that shit because it's dangerous as shit. There's like, because of that shit. Well, if your plane goes down, though, you're toast.
That's where all the magnets come from.
Planes don't do good in the cold, bro. He said, yeah, you're like, shit. I don't know. But anyway, so he claimed that when he flew over it, though, he like saw like plush green areas where he shouldn't have, like in the middle of like the poles. And then he flew over like, I think the same spot a second time. Then he claimed to like see like what they called like I don't know, you pretty much like an opening, like in the earth, you know, like going down. So it's like, so this was like they're talking about inner earth. There's been like a couple of different scientists throughout history that have claimed that there's like older scientists obviously that claim that there was like an earth inside the earth. Like, yeah, so like at the poles, you would like enter at the poles, and like, so one of them said that there was like different layers within each one that had different atmospheres.
That's
And
crazy.
shit, bro. And like, there's been multiple accounts though from like credible sources, like people who would otherwise have not said any like crazy ass shit, who had said like there was some weird shit going on right at the North Pole, or like one person tried to like say something about it, and the government was like, or no, I think he flew over or something like that, and they're like, yeah, and then they said something to someone, and then the government was like, don't ever fly over there again, or you're gonna pretty much disappear. Like,
So you think there's a hole, but the government's hiding it, basically?
I don't necessarily think that. I just said people have claimed that. Like, they're like, yeah.
I don't want to die.
There's also, but if you go online, you've seen those fucking sinkholes or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
them.
oh,
That's like what it is, though. If you think about
That's what I was
like the
picturing
concept
what
of
you
it.
were talking about.
So think about how that water's just running straight into that hole. Where is it going, and how is it not like draining the lake like a fucking bathtub drain would do?
Okay.
Like what is that shit? You know, I have no idea. I just saw pictures recently, and I was like,
I would
what the
send a
fuck?
camera down there just to figure out.
To where? How are you gonna stand there in the current? How are you gonna get down?
I didn't say
You
I
wanna
was-
send a drone, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
then again, like you won't be able to see that much. You're just
Yeah, it's
gonna be in
dark
water.
as shit. I don't know. It just sounds weird.
It's cool. Obviously, you gotta go through darks of water, but like
Darks
depths.
of
I
water.
said
The
darks.
dark supply.
Are you talking about the deep end?
Yeah, like if you're saying it's like that, wouldn't you gotta go hella far to get to it? It's not for you like 5 miles away. Like, hey, I'm about to just
Yeah.
take a swing in. You would think like this Earth is huge as fuck.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
like that would just be extended forever. Basically, because you just keep falling. That's what I'm saying. Because if you don't know where it goes, it just kind of be like, Get Out. He was in the sunken place. You know how he.
Didn't they make a movie about this? Like Journey to the Center of the Earth or something?
Yeah. They drilled their way.
Oh
Also, isn't
god.
that interesting? Like,
Awesome.
I wonder when we're gonna like, actually get close to the center there.
I don't think we would sustain it.
Yeah.
I have any metal that could sustain that.
I don't think we have much interest in it.
I wouldn't want to do
Not
that.
now.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, that's
See,
exactly what I'm thinking too.
Yeah,
We
it's-
break the wrong layer or something, like
Oh,
Our
I
Earth's
think-
just gonna collapse.
no, it's
The,
not.
like the deepest hole that we've ever like dug. A lot of the miners said that they could like hear people under their feet.
There were people that lived
I
underneath
don't
us.
like
Hey,
that.
Hey, here's a warrant. Get ready. I'm telling you. Here's a warrant.
Also, there's
telling
been
you.
giant underground cities found.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Like they're not like ancient ones though.
Mhm.
They're like they were. Oh, they don't know why they're there. A lot of them. There's one of them though
I've seen this in
that
Futurama.
that has like a crazy resonance. Like it resonates at like a specific like it's built like in a crazy way so that like sound resonates at a certain frequency throughout the whole thing. Like how the fuck are you supposed to build that? And you're supposed to be Stone Age
That's
people.
what's so cool about ancient civilizations.
Yeah, like what?
It's like how did you figure this out?
And like you can hear it's like whoa, it's like loud. Like if you make any like noise in there, it vibrates at the same exact frequency.
Like Stonehenge or something like that, you know, it's like they like placed the rocks in just the perfect space or something like that, just to line it up with the sun on like
To
I
do
can't remember if it was
something.
like the solstice or like what
We don't know what it is.
yeah,
Like,
it's
we
just,
still haven't figured it out.
it's crazy.
What happens if humans, like, we came from a different planet and we're like, I wouldn't say gods, but like giants?
Well,
So
there
that's like
is
still a
stories of
gene.
giants.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories of giants.
Yeah.
Actually, like the Anunnaki were supposed to be giant. The Nephilim.
There have been giant skeletons found in Minnesota.
Yeah. there's-
What?
there's
Yeah.
been giant skeletons found all over the world, but they usually get
We have
they usually get
mounds.
hidden. They usually
Yeah.
get like you'll hear an article and then they'll just go away forever, or they'll go to a museum and they won't display them and stuff like that because they don't fit like the normal
Like,
outline of
Yeah.
what we're supposed to.
They'd be like,
what our
Which
That's
is
history
weird.
shit.
I mean, yeah, why would we not
so
want to
there's
show
been
that?
giants?
Because there's just no explanation.
You just be like, hey.
There's been like a bunch of 9-foot, 10-foot skeletons and shit found.
10-foot
Yes, bro.
skeletons.
Huge.
In this state,
Yeah,
like all over though, like
Yeah.
like
plenty of different places.
yeah,
10-foot? Oh my god.
yeah.
You gotta think about it. Would that be like kind of like those NBA players? Would they be considered giants?
No,
No, not those same.
9 foot. my nigga. We're
Like,
talking about
big
9
skulls.
feet.
Yeah, Wilton got none of those.
Giant
so
skulls.
even like that's even damn.
Yeah.
When I was picturing, I was thinking kind of like how them dudes be like 7 feet tall now. You ever seen what's that movie called Space Jam? You know, the blue one? And that's what I was kind of picturing. What the guys kind of look like. No cap. Hope
Bro.
God don't fuck up this movie.
That shit is like, you know, there's humans too that got like elongated skulls that aren't like bound and stuff like that.
So they can shoot with their top.
Like King Tut's dad. They are like he was the only pharaoh in Egypt who like strayed away from their like multiple gods and they started worshiping one god when he was empowered. And it was like the sun disk or some shit like that. There's some crazy shit. But like he's like depicted as like really he's like has a really weird depiction. Like he has like a big stomach and he has like kind of like short legs and like hips that kind of like almost so it's like he's built kind of like whoosh, like some shit. He has like a long head and shit. So he was always like obviously the pharaohs are all supposed to be like part divine and shit like that.
Also,
he was considered one.
Tricking people.
So do you think?
Bro, nah, see that's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
No, it's not what I'm saying, bro.
Oh.
This is what
Nah.
this is what I'm saying, bro. Is that the people with this? So they found his skeleton recently. They were looking for it for Akhenaten. They were looking for it for a long time. They finally found his tomb where they claim to be. They did the DNA test, so pretty much confirmed that they don't know who his dad is, but they know who his mother is, and they know that he's the father of Tutankhamun by doing the DNA test and stuff like that.
Damn.
And so but like they recovered his remains and his skull was for real elongated. So people the whole time were talking about like, oh, this must have just been a depiction to like try to represent that he was divine and so on and so forth. But at the time that he was in power, they had like very, very realistic standards for like their depiction. So when you drew something like that was like how they looked. It wasn't like, you know, when you were like depicting one of the like important people or you were drawing a picture of someone, you drew how they looked or you carved how they looked or whatever you want to call it, chiseled in stone or whatever.
Some abstract look on it.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't interpreting it in some other way. So then, you know, people questioned that for a long time. But then his remains got found. He actually has an elongated skull. If you look it up on Google, that'd be the first thing that comes up. You can look up, you know, remains of Akhenaten. And then there's other remains too, there's a Sumerian priestess, the first generation Sumerian priestess. So she was supposed to be outside of the Anunnaki. She was supposed to be like the first like human ruler, or like one of the first like human rulers. But she also had like an elongated skull and shit like that, which the Anunnaki were supposed to have had, for instance. So when you look into our past, you have to question at some point in time, like, yes, these stories sound crazy to us, but we're talking about giant skeletons, elongated skulls and shit like that. And you have to think, and dinosaurs being a part of, you know, you have to think at some point in time that like they might have been telling you what they actually saw, you know, not just some, you know, wild story that, you know, sounds better. You know what I'm saying? So, not to mention they don't have technological knowledge. They didn't like we did. So let's say technological people came to them, and then what would you think they were? Motherfucker, I would be like, whoa, what the? You definitely cooler than me. In my opinion, you a god, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, some nigga came down with zapping people or some shit, I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, he's probably like, he knows the whole science to it. He's probably like, y'all just don't know shit.
Yeah.
It's like, let me teach you. You can just worship me real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, who would pass up that opportunity? And if you want to think interesting too, it's like Star Wars and shit like that. It's like, would probably be pretty accurate depictions of how you would deal with people on other planets who are like more primitive and shit. You know, then they had like, or I think it might have been Star Trek that had like the rules that like you couldn't like interfere with like developing civilizations and shit like that. Who, you know, it's interesting because you would think that that's like, it would have to be how it would go down here.
But there's a theory right now that so right now we're at like the most peak as far as any civilization goes. So we don't know what would happen if, let's say there is a large war that kills everybody. We don't know what would happen if you get past that. So let's say we actually get outside of our own planet. We don't know if people have ever done that.
Right.
So we don't know if there's any other civilizations that have actually left their planet to try and come here. So we're like, is there anything out there? Because if there is, why haven't they left?
Yeah. I mean, I think we already made contact with the peoples.
Really?
So do you think we're the smartest, or do you think
No,
we're
I
the
don't think we're
bottom?
the smartest. I definitely don't think we're the smartest. Cause, no, hell no. Because if we're talking about how the universe was created, we can't be the smartest because there has to be organisms in the universe that have developed for hundreds of thousands of years longer than us. There's no way that we're the if we view the universe, if we all accept the universe as it has been depicted to us, ever expanding, or at least very vast, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be the only life forms, because that shouldn't make any sense. At the end of the day, the universe is probably trying to create life as a formula. You know what I'm saying? We talk about how mathematic everything is, how precise everything is. It's probably like an algorithm. You know what I'm saying? That it's getting perfected over and over, or being, attempting to perfect itself by learning, which is kind of like a theory that I've adopted from listening to a couple of different people. There's like a theory that like each universe expands and contracts, and so it seems like it's ever expanding to us because we're so minuscule. But it's really like the big boom would be like, expand, and then collapse, and then the next universe will be born off of the boom that the collapsing universe created, and then that universe would have all the knowledge from the universe that it just created to go out and do it better, pretty much. One of itself. Okay. So that was like kind of like a theory that made sense in my head.
It does kind of make sense though.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, it's just like everything we know is like can be like a math problem, like we can break down reality into math, so at the end of the day, it's probably mathematical in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, so
You say they would go. Hey, brand new one.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that though. Like from that.
Because all that energy from that, would cause a big boom, which was what we think our universe started with, was a big boom. So that might have been. But which means that everything might be ridiculously old. It could be forever. It could. Who knows? We really have no understanding. We're specks of dust in the universe. So,
Facts.
and like that's how I always say. It's like there's no way that there's like been thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of UFO accounts throughout our history. Even in ancient times, there's UFO accounts. Even in the Bible, there's UFO accounts. Even in every ancient text you ever look in, everything's technically like a UFO account. Motherfuckers coming down and firing chariots, shit like that, or weird depictions of like vessels. Like everyone came from the sky, apparently, who they worship. Everyone was seated from above.
So we're just like really the servants, like this race would be like.
Who knows? We don't. There's no way that you can theorize. There's no way we can.
But if you look at it like that's wild. That was real.
I mean,
Something about time travel. Do you guys think we can time travel yet? Or do you think they're hiding it because
I
they
think
know
that they're really close, because time travel is only relative though.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, it only has to do with regular travel. So yeah, I think we could definitely do it. We just need to move faster than everything else. That's how we know time and space works, as far as we know now. Like I said, science starts changing. So I mean, as far as we know now, you go faster than the fucking light that's moving, you're technically pretty much time traveling. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fucking, crazy shit.
I wonder what kind of horsepower that's gonna have.
Nah, you could probably do it in the Dodge Charger.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. I'll be there.
I'm here.
Like SpongeBob. Well, why don't you run over there and back? Why don't you do it again?
Alright, gotta go.
Oh, wait, I forgot.
That'd be so wild. That'd be so wild. Oh yeah, they would not let niggas have that. We would not be allowed to have that. They'd be like,
A lot of bad things are gonna go down.
They just price you out of it. Time traveling machine. $300 million.
I'll take one.
Just like those fucking trips they're trying to sell trips to Mars
or
whatever. Sell trips to, or those like outer, or like those like near Earth orbit like trips or whatever kind of shit. That's just crazy.
What the hell?
I'm gonna take one of those someday, no matter what.
No,
I'm gonna save
they-
up all my money.
Is that real?
Yeah, you can go up there. It's just really
it hasn't
fucking
happened yet,
expensive.
I don't think it's.
I'm pretty sure it has.
I think they were just plotting on it.
Really?
I don't think it's actually came to fruition.
Because no, Virgin, like the company Virgin,
They started
has.
selling the tickets. I don't think they actually. Maybe I'm sure.
Not Nathan. No.
I'm really curious
It
about
was
this
another
now. We're gonna have
Soulja
to
Boy.
like verify like if these trips are happening at the moment.
It's another Soulja Boy scale.
My vote is I feel like these trips are happening. Like people are going into space.
They're gonna be hurt. Everyone's gonna be hurt. I'm so bad. Buy your ticket for $120 right now. They're
Yeah.
we really got them.
No, these are like $100,000 or something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
so-
there a place
yeah,
to
why
it?
you say that?
And it's like you
$1,000.
just go up in the space
Niggas
and
be
come
warned.
back
You don't
down.
have enough money.
I definitely was like, oh, they're gonna price that.
This is a high
Oh,
dollar.
not just 120.
It was like,
120. You can't even get a regular flight, bro.
I'll fly you one way to Chicago. Like,
Right.
facts.
Even Chicago would be like $200 sometimes. Like, no,
Real shit.
fuck that. Should we roll the dice?
Should we roll the dice?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go for I mean, we
I
only
guess
just.
while we're on space, we can talk about the moon.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Ooh.
Well, at least your mic was turned up hell long because his mic was muted that whole time. That's why I was like, I can't hear this nigga, but I can hear you.
No.
We're good. I'm pretty sure like it'll come through. I'll just let y'all know.
Oh, we cool, man.
Yeah.
It looked good on the camera.
Oh, I mean, we got it. Yeah, our YouTube video will be fire.
It's
we got
cool,
it. We
it's
got
cool.
it recorded down here.
Yeah.
My bad, y'all. I've been having technical difficulties all day.
Oh, we good, we good.
But anyway, we can talk about the moon for a little bit since we got everyone.
Why do dogs howl at the moon?
What is the moon?
Cheese.
No,
Just
for real
kidding.
though.
That's why the packers love it.
Facts.
For real though, like,
What is the
what do
moon?
y'all think about the moon, man? What do y'all
Imagine if it was really cheese, though.
what is it though?
If it's not
It was a
rock.
space.
Be like a finely aged cheese.
Oh,
see, that's
that's
see,
dark.
he knows what I'm talking about, man.
It's actually other people watching us.
Hmm.
I gotta go to the bathroom now. I mean, ooh, nervous.
What?
What? The odds is
How did
there.
that even happen?
I don't gotta really go to the bathroom. It's just like, I was saying, like, you guys are saying that's a spaceship, though?
It's a theory.
But
this-
that
alright,
could be true,
Let's
though.
explain it.
'Cause no
Let
one's
me-
ever really
let me-
visited.
Let me break it down, bro. Yeah, probably people haven't probably been to the moon either. But anyway, let me break this down. So, Max doesn't like that. We didn't even bet.
We have been to the moon.
Says who?
He said Neil Armstrong. Oh, shit, I'm all my fault, guys, my fault. Technical difficulties.
Hey, no, so this is the science line that goes like, for one, if the moon is as old as it's supposed to be, which, mind you, the moon is technically, by our dating system, older than Earth, or older, yeah, so like, alright, already weird, but outside of that, how, if it's been that old, how does it remain a perfect circle? It's a perfect sphere in the sky.
If he keeps getting hit by stuff.
Yeah, it's been it should be like really fucked up by now by space debris and shit like that.
And it keeps getting further away, so.
Yeah,
It keeps moving away.
you know. So also,
That's
to talk
wild.
about being completely round. Y'all know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is?
Oh yeah.
So he said some shit about how like if the world was fucking like spinning, he says the world's supposed to be like egg shaped pretty much.
Yeah.
Because of like how we're spinning, like theoretically speaking, with science is accepted as it is, that's what would happen over time because of the rotation or whatever. So if you were to accept that, which most people would say that he's more of like a mainstream scientist kind of guy. He's not like trying to be obscure. You know what I'm saying? So if you even accept what he says, then how would you ever use the evidence that they're like the composite images or the images of Earth are as they are? Because Earth looks completely fucking circular when you look at any type of image of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's perfectly round. And how, like, almost nothing in space we know is perfectly round. So, like, what makes Earth and the moon so special? And especially because the Earth, technically speaking, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, isn't round or isn't spherical perfectly.
Maybe it's just the way I always see things.
Or maybe they just feeding you some fake ass pictures.
No, like I'm saying about the moon. You're right about that.
The moon is circular for sure because we can see it.
Yeah.
But we can't see Earth.
No, because if you look on the internet, you can't find the same two pictures of. You can't find the same two pictures of the Earth.
Because there's never been a picture, a straight up picture taken of the Earth. One single picture. They're all composite images. Everything on NASA is a composite image. No, everyone is always like, you know, when they look at those pictures of the galaxy and shit like that, how would we take a picture of that? That's not possible. We haven't been that far out. How would you zoom out from that angle to even catch a picture of the Milky Way, nigga? Like, that's not realistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no way to take an image of that. We can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that means literally all these pictures have to be renditions or, you know what I'm saying, not actual photos. So, I mean, just think about that too. And if you think about also the quote unquote, the videos from like space of Earth or whatever, you know, that like the one I feel like everyone thinks about, like that picture out like the window of like Earth. So for one, if you think about how big the moon is in comparison to Earth, and you was out by the moon, even, Earth could never be that small in your view sight, or in your view, from your view. It would be all. It would encompass your whole vision. There would be no looking out the window at Earth. The Earth would be like.
Depending upon where you were, would you even see the Earth? Because if you're on the backside and you're looking at from the dark side of the Earth, would you even like notice it?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's an interesting thought.
How far do they say the moon is from?
If your car could drive as fast as a spaceship, it would take you 18 hours.
So it's kind of like driving
It's
to the
far.
West Coast.
It's shit.
Here to Houston.
Yeah, basically.
It's far as shit, but it's not for a spaceship.
It's
So that being said, you're not even that far away. Really.
if it's 18.
And so like literally that image is there's no even chance that it's real. There's not even like a potential chance. And if you think about it too, to get a to even get the point where you'd be stable enough to take the picture, you'd have to have the gravitational spin on in your spaceship. So you'd be going like this. You'd be spinning at like a ridiculous rate, and you would never be able to capture the moon, or you'd never be able to capture Earth like perfectly on the horizon. Like, you know what I mean? Like coming up like that. This is not even reasonable to assume if you're gonna go by conventional science. And that's why it's funny when people are like, "Oh no, like this is all real." I'm like, says who though? The only people who can confirm that shit is goddamn government.
Or NASA, who's ran by the government.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
I don't know.
Still government.
at the end of the day, everyone, well, powerful people, just in general.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
You think the Kennedys though?
I mean,
They're almost all dead.
you wonder why they died, huh, CJ? They knew
Let's
too
go.
much, man. They did. Actually, that was
I like that family though.
That was the thing though. There's good evidence that Kennedy got killed by the government. So,
That's what I'm saying.
because they said that he just wanted to know too much, pretty much. He was like trying to get a bunch of like classified files, even to the president they were classified. He was like trying to like declassify them and reading all this shit that they're like, bro, nah.
Those are exact words from the government.
Have you ever watched that show? That was
No.
I forget what it was called. It was the year. It was like 1960 something.
Oh, wasn't it like based off a Stephen King book or something?
That shit was crazy,
I've never watched that.
bro. With what's his name? Franco.
No, I never saw that.
That shit was fucking crazy.
What's it called?
I forget the year what that is. It's named after a year. It's like 1963 or something, I think.
I feel like I know what you're talking
But
about.
it's about like pretty much if he could like travel back in time and he like was trying to save Kennedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know what you're
And
talking
so like
about.
he like saved him, and then like shit got fucked up. Like Kennedy like started like concentration camps and shit like
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
And, like the whole country like got like fucking destroyed. And like he like went to he thought it was gonna be all sweet after he saved Kennedy, and he went back and he was like, oh shit. He was like, alright, redo. And he was just like, alright, Kennedy's gonna die.
You can't change history like that. But if you think about it, time traveling like that, or travel, when you say time traveling, what do you mean by that when you said that? Time traveling?
Being able to go forward or backward in time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
So
about
when-
backward. I know you can go forward easier than you can go backward.
Yeah.
So, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
Like,
pretty
I'm
sure that's the
just
side,
like,
right? Yeah, I think that's like,
But I hear like if you go backwards, would that be like, would that fuck shit up? Because figure if you go backwards and you
yeah.
step.
What is
different-
backwards in time though? Even like, it's like interesting. Like, is it like everyone goes backwards, or is it like I don't even know how to explain it. What's
Yeah.
backwards in time?
I mean,
It's
time
like,
probably is just like a straight line, and you
Yeah.
can only go forward in it.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think you could go back. I think you could go forward though. I think you could just like, I think you could go forward. I don't think you could go back. Because you could make it so like your time was elapsed in going into the future, you know what I'm saying? Like for you it was like a second, for everyone, because we already know that's how like shit works. Like when astronauts go into space, they age way slower than us. So if we can just like bring that process to like
Earth.
up exponentially, make it faster,
Mhm.
then like theoretically speaking, you're just going forward in time. You leave for 5 minutes, everyone's 5 years older. You went 5, you know, you coming back and it's, you know, you're like, oh shit. And you're like,
Would that fuck your body up?
yes.
So there's like really no way of doing it without.
We don't, I mean, not yet.
Okay.
That's everything, bro. Everything's not yet.
Yeah, good point. Someone's gonna find out.
Do you think it's smarter with wormholes and getting another reality, or trying to go forward?
And you saw what happened on Rick and
Bro,
Morty.
parallel universes would be crazy.
You saw what happened on Rick and Morty though.
What, the parallel universe? Are you talking about the miniverse? Oh, that shit's funny and shit.
He was like, "Hello,
They was just trying to clown us. They were talking about, they were pretty much trying to say like we're just like some rats in a simulation. They're like, yeah, you might have some rats in your own simulation, but you're still just a rat in a simulation. Just higher levels.
Imagine if that was true.
That's the thing though about the simulation. The simulation like theory is like pretty realistic. Like, yeah, some weird. If you look it up, there's like scientists like devoting their careers to try to prove that like we're in like a generated reality.
Because imagine that was real though. Like there was like
Because
different versions of us.
This is the thing that parallel universe is a whole different topic though. That's different.
Oh, that's
That's
different.
different. No, yeah, that's completely different.
Oh, so that's in the parallel universe and not in the.
Yeah,
Okay.
because in the simulation theory, it's just like talking about how like we are in a 2D, like we're 3D, we're like or whatever, we're 4D and like a 2D, you know, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Like we're living on a plane that's like just created. It's not like real. But to us, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
We can only see it in terms of we see it, which is why it wouldn't even change anything for us.
Yeah,
You're like everyone would go crazy. I'm like, why? I mean, like your life is still valid. It's still gonna suck if you just neglect everything. You know, it's still gonna, you know, you still have to do the same shit. You still got to eat shit and fucking, you know, sleep. Like at the end of the day, like nothing changes. You can still die. You know, like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Alright, well, it sounds like we gotta wrap it up quick
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So,
we're
any
probably-
final thoughts here?
Nah. I'm pretty
My final
close to
thought is that
Go first.
my ancestors got to ride on dinosaurs, and I'm jealous.
Yo, it was like the Flintstone.
I just want to be able to see the planet from the outside, or and go over the North and South Pole.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm with CJ on that, and I recommend that everyone listen to Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, featuring
Going
Billy
on.
Ray Cyrus.
That is straight
He said,
to
everyone's
South
flying in the
Pole.
world.
It is.
#1 song in the world.
No count.
And the moon's fake, never fake.
It's made from cheese. Shout out Green Bay.
Yeah, sorry, Ezra. I had your mic all fucked up, bro. We gonna get you right next time, man.
For sure.
But I think y'all can hear him. If y'all can't hear him, just let me know. You probably won't, but I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me know. That's what I'm supposed to do as a host.
I can't wait to use the bathroom.
I know. I do not appreciate. I was getting beard now. I'm like, I need to get some food. All right, y'all. We out.
Facts. Ray J's. Shout out to Ray J's.